Got it. Great, thank you. Okay, so I will call to order the CCS Executive Committee meeting of Wednesday, April 10th, 2024. Could I have a roll call, please?
And I have 10 a.m. as the start.
Oh, thank you. 10 a.m.
Austin,
Here.
Bertucci,
Here.
Dilger,
Here.
Dombrowski,
Here.
Dorfman,
Here.
Felix,
Here.
Smith.
Here.
And for CCS, we have Rebecca Malinowski and Beth Stonebrenner.
Okay, thank you. Any additions to the agenda? Hearing none, I will declare the agenda adopted. Do we have any public comment? Also hearing none, we will proceed to the consent agenda. Could I get a motion on the consent agenda?
So
I'll make-
moved, Smith.
Second, Bertucci.
Great, thank you. So it's consent, so there's no discussion. Roll call, please.
Austin,
Yes.
Bertucci,
Yes.
Dilger,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Dorfman,
Yes.
Felix,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so we will move into the business section of our agenda. First item is the BestFlex HSA. Deborah, sorry, Rebecca did send you some information, I believe, just yesterday. I don't know if everyone has had a chance to review it, but I will turn it over to Rebecca for a brief overview and then we can do questions.
Yes, so the short story is our plan was not in compliance last year. And so we owe the IRS money. We have paid the total amount owed through our accountants. So they've already submitted, you can see there is about $600 of employer taxes and $600 of employee taxes. Those have all been submitted to the IRS. And we are now in compliance. You may say, how are you not in compliance? And that is a very fair question. So last year in September, Executive Committee approved an agreement with EBC to administer our HSA, and you reviewed the paperwork and we signed it and we turned it in. Apparently that was only half of the paperwork. And that was the contract for services and not the plan amendment. So EBC never told us we needed to amend our plan and never amended our actual plan. So yeah, our plan didn't exist despite the fact that they were taking our money and our employer contributions and our employee contributions. So everyone has the money that was contributed. Like we have 2 staff members using the plan. Their money is in their account, their accounts exist, like that's all fine. It's that it was taken pre-tax when the IRS wasn't aware that it was eligible to be taken pre-tax. So this is largely informational today, although I did want to confirm with Executive Committee that even if we're not able to recoup any funds from EBC, that the committee is comfortable with us not attempting to recoup not docking employees' pay for the additional $600 of employee taxes that were owed. So that is sort of one question. And then, more for Jeannie, once I get this letter drafted, I just got the amount from the accountants this morning. I just think it would be beneficial to have your signature as well as mine on that document.
Absolutely.
And I'm happy to take questions. I know this is kind of a weird thing. My favorite part is when we met with compliance at EBC, they're like, yeah, this happens sometimes. So we are not the only client this has happened to. So our attorney thought that was a real delight as well.
Question, Rebecca, are you comfortable continuing to use this company based on this error, or might you
That's a
see
really
someone
great
else?
question. So, I mean, we did update our paperwork to continue with them for this year because we felt it was important to get in compliance as soon as possible. We haven't looked around yet at other options. I think Jeannie, you said you administer a similar plan on your own. You just do it in-house.
We do.
Yeah.
The difficulty with that is that to avoid working with multiple banks, we have told employees they must work with Wintrust for their HSA, so they don't have a choice.
Okay.
Whereas with your plan, I'm guessing they can choose any bank to run their HSA through, or is that?
No, it's like the accounts are with this.
Okay.
Through EBC, so it's
Okay.
similar.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm definitely open to looking at other companies. I mean, we're also like in compliance now per our attorney and our accountant, so it's like, well,
And we do use EBC they're the third party administrator for the benefit plan. They do our non-discrim testing, like
Yes.
there's other things that EBC does for us, so doesn't mean we can't make a switch, but we would want to include all of that.
yeah, I feel a lot better about continuing with them if they take some responsibility and pay us back some or all of these losses.
Agreed. Thanks for the answer.
Yeah, just like, come on, guys.
I will say that I have no concerns about CCS not recouping the funds from the employees, but if anybody does, now would be a good time. I think it makes sense. Obviously the error was not the employee's fault.
I agree. Can support that.
Yes, so, yeah, and the accountants, have spent 4 hours on this issue, and so that will be an additional $600 in the list here. And then Beth and I have tracked some of our staff time working on it as well, just to like include in our request. I don't anticipate that they will say, sure, we'll pay you all $3,000 of that, but if they would do some, I would feel better about working with them in the future, so. But Anna at KTJ has been very helpful with this issue. So it is frustrating, but again, even if the total, if we're not able to get anything back, the total loss is not horrible. It's just
Unfortunate.
unfortunate. And again, like with one job, EDC, like. So
You're supposed to be the experts. That's why we're paying you.
right.
Exactly.
So I will follow up with that. I will get my draft over to Jeannie for her signature and then we'll get it over to them. But yes, so that's what I have on.
Okay. Sounds like there are no other questions about that, Rebecca. We agree with your plan of attack there. Rebecca included information about new and potential members on pages 13 and 14 of your packet. Rebecca, did you have anything to add to that?
I would just note, so when we first started working with Mount Prospect, they were very clear that they wanted to make sure that they kept any authority files that they had developed, since they have a really robust authorities program. I'm not entirely sure why, but they have now decided they don't need their authorities. Maybe they've just spent more time in our catalog and are delighted. But I mean, our quote from Innovative included that additional extract and load. So as an alternate, thanks. As an alternate, Innovative's going to attempt to extract and load patron reading history. And for this is not something we've done for previous libraries, and we're not entirely sure it's going to actually work because of the way reading history works. Like anything that has since been deleted from the database, like won't be able to be loaded. Whereas if the reading history was like native, deleted titles would still stay in the reading history. So we're not sure how helpful that will actually be, but because it's Mieko discussed it with the libraries, and because it was already in there, the funds were already allocated, they want to give it a shot, so we're doing that. But just if, other new libraries are like, how come we didn't get our reading history? That's the backstory. But other than that, it's going well. We're excited.
Any questions? And it seems like Vernon area is still exploring, hasn't made a decision.
Correct.
Okay. Good to see they're coming to meetings. Innovative updates. Deborah's not here, so Rebecca, you get this one too.
Yes, I'm just really excited that they are working towards SFTP. So that's secure file transfer instead of just like an unsecured file transfer. We do actually, I think, have an SFTP situation set up with them for one vendor, but it's not technically something they promise. So I'm glad that's moving forward. More security is better.
Okay, Find More Illinois. Looks like May is the first group of libraries. How many libraries are in that first group? Do you know?
There are 3 groups in May. So Algonquin and Morton Grove are first on May 7th. And then Evanston, Zion, and Glenview are on May 14th. And then there's another couple on May 21st that I did not write down.
It's okay.
But so what we found is definitely there's a preference for like May and August, which was not really surprising to us. So we are moving forward with that. We had, as noted in the packet, Rails was out. Maybe it's not noted in the packet. Rails was here earlier in this month to do like kind of a full deep dive training with our staff so we can better develop the library staff training.
Questions about Find More?
No, but Jeannie, I have a quick question about innovative.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Rebecca, that's okay. Rebecca, are there any updates on Vega?
Yes and no. So Vega development is continuing. We are, as you know, still recruiting our UX position. And so our CCS's next step with Vega in general is to complete another round of user testing, looking at PowerPack, Vega, BiblioCommons, and probably Aspen as well. And reviewing that to inform what happens next. So at this point, our innovative contract is up in 2026. So I would choose not to make any changes to our paid services with innovative until that contract. So next year, what we're working on with long range planning is our goals for next year, which is largely like evaluating all the stuff. So what do we want to include in, like, one, do we want to renew with innovative? I think probably the answer is yes, but we're going to do some vendor demos and look at everything. But within that, you know, are we going to include Vega in that renewal? Are we going to do a separate RFP for discovery? Are we going to just stick with PowerPack and not do any changes to discovery? Is sort of our next step. Sorry, that was a long answer.
Yeah, I think I'm clear. So basically what I'm hearing is one, that project is going to be led by the UX person, your new UX person, and that basically no changes are going to be made until 2026, or no decisions will be made around it until 2026 once the contract is up.
Yeah, so the decision will probably be made in 2025 to negotiate for the renewal that's due in 2026.
Okay.
Yeah, but I would be very cautious about like locking ourselves into any pricing as we're approaching a renewal where we have theoretically more leverage to look at all of our pricing together. So the same goes for like the text messaging service that we just approved those credits for. That should get us to our contract renewal, and then we can stick with Unique, or the new and improved innovative product might be a better buy for us. So we can evaluate that. Similarly, we'll be looking at phone notices. Our phone notice server is nearing end of life. We have a physical server in our office and analog phone lines. But Innovative is developing a cloud-based solution that we'll be able to evaluate. It's actually out now. And there are third-party cloud-based solutions. So all of those different pieces are going to be evaluated ahead of the contract renewal.
In 2025.
Yeah, so we'll be evaluating starting in July, essentially, all the things, so that by kind of May, we've been told to plan a year for our renewal. So essentially from like April of 2025 to April of 2026, we'll be negotiating the renewal.
Gotcha.
It's gonna be awesome.
Sounds like a fun
Sounds-
year.
Jeannie, are you sure you want to retire?
I'm like, do you want to do that from the beach?
So yeah, we're not planning to make any changes, and we will be looking at multiple tools to help inform what to do moving forward.
Sounds good. Thanks, Rebecca.
Okay, any other questions on innovative updates? I apologize for zooming through the agenda here. Questions about Find More? Okay, so Rebecca, you briefly alluded there to the UX position. An update on that?
Yes, so our recruiter with HR Source is conducting phone interviews today, actually, so we're looking forward to an update on that. It sounds like they've rebranded the position externally from user experience specialist to UX researcher to make it more broadly appealing, which I think was a good move, and based on the number of applicants they got kind of right away, I think those were positive changes. So now we will see how the phone interviews shake out and what our candidate pool looks like.
Questions about that? Okay, that sounds exciting. I agreed, those changes are probably good plan.
Yes,
I
I
find that-
appreciate their expertise.
Right,
Thank you,
sometimes I
Brenda,
find that HR Source tells me, oh, you're not branding this HR position correctly. You
Yeah.
don't use library words, call it an HR generalist, you'll get more people. Great. So, okay. Okay, so any other business that anyone wants to discuss before we talk about some closed session minutes? So I think that we could avoid going into closed session here if we so desire, but we always have the option to do so. So you will see, first of all, in your packet on the very last page, I believe, Beth prepared a list of closed session minutes to review, which is only one item, and then the recordings are not eligible to be destroyed yet, so there's no potential motions there. So it's just this one set of minutes from January, and then Rebecca figured out a way to send it to everyone as a link, but it is not downloadable for security purposes. So you should have gotten that in your email about 9:40 this morning. I'm seeing some nods. Looks like maybe people have been able to take a look at that. So I guess I will ask if anyone feels the need to go into closed session to discuss these before we approve them. I'm seeing shaking of heads. Okay, then I will entertain a motion, again, on your last page of your packet there. If you wish to keep we need to approve them, and then we need to decide whether to keep them closed or to open them. So starting with potential motion number 1 to approve the minutes.
I move
Monica.
to approve the minutes of the January 10th, 2024 closed session meeting.
I'll second.
Lindsay seconded. Thank you. Any discussions? Okay, roll call.
Austin,
Yes.
Bertucci,
Yes.
Dilger,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Dorfman,
Yes.
Felix,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Great, motion is approved. So in terms of whether to open them, I wanted to commend Beth, the note taker, on making them sufficiently broad and vague in terms of the medical issue that I personally feel that we could go either way in terms of keeping them closed or opening them. I know, Rebecca, you said the same. So I will entertain a motion either way. No
I
strong
would-
feeling.
I would motion, I make a motion to keep them closed for a little longer until some more time passes.
I'll second that. I agree.
Okay. Any discussion about that? Okay. Seems reasonable. Go ahead
One
and
more time, roll.
roll call.
Austin,
Yes.
Bertucci,
Yes.
Dilger,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Dorfman,
Yes.
Felix,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Okay. Motion passed. We will keep those closed till the next go round. Okay. So, reports. Evidently I'm not on the agenda to have a report. What is the last month? So now it says president-elect.
I just didn't update that. I apologize.
Okay, I had no report, so fair enough.
Me neither. So
Okay, Joanna and I both don't have a report for you. Secretary. No report?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no report.
Okay, thanks, Lindsay. Anthony, treasurer.
I suppose I should have a report. I don't really have anything truly prepared for you all, but we did meet on Friday, March 22nd to discuss the first draft of the fiscal 24-25 budget. And all appears to be in order with the drafting of our budget so far. I don't really have anything else to share at this point. Would anyone else who was present like to make any comments? Okay.
I wasn't able to make that one, so.
I've got some homework to still do.
Oh.
We have another meeting coming up next
Yep,
week.
next week.
Yes, yes. So, okay, meeting next week. Meanwhile, the financials look good. It looks like we are 75% of the way through the year. We have received about 75% of our income, and I think it was about 66% is spent, so that's always good.
Yep.
Okay. Committees and groups. Nominating committee, Heidi.
Excellent. So we have received several nominations. It's looking real good. We have nominations open through Friday, at which time I will circle back with Anthony and Monica to put together that slate, follow up with the people who were nominated or who volunteered to make sure everybody's on the same page. Anyone who volunteered or was nominated, well, I guess if they volunteered, we'll follow up with them if they're not going to be on the slate as well. So we'll just make sure that everyone who participated is respected, considered, and that we'll have a Jim Dandy slate for next year. Any questions for me?
Can you remind us the timeline for the actual voting?
Sure. The voting would happen at the May governance meeting.
Okey doke. Other questions? Okay, I am also gonna add, bylaws and policy met on Monday?
Yes,
Tuesday? This week is going by
Yesterday?
fast.
Was it yesterday? I feel
I
like
think it was yesterday.
was
yesterday,
yesterday.
Okay.
yesterday, Tuesday. Yes, the bylaws and policy committee met yesterday and discussed a number of changes to the bylaws and to our policies regarding contracts and CCS's authority around requiring members to enter into contracts with third parties. Rebecca spoke to our attorney, and the CCS governing board does have that authority. But Rebecca added some great language to the bylaws and to our policy to sort of clarify that. And those changes will be presented to the governing board in May. Is that correct, Rebecca?
Yes.
Anything
Yeah,
to
they'll
add?
be-
Did
They'll
I
be
get
presented
everything?
in May, but we won't be able to vote until our next meeting because we need 45 days. So even if we sent them out today, we still wouldn't be at 45 days. So we'll just wait and talk about it.
Some time to sit and think about those changes.
Yeah, let them marinate.
So the vote would be in August at the next, okay, okay.
Yeah, and that'll be a 2/3 vote. We'll need 2/3 of all voting members, regardless of how many people are present. So this is where it's like quorum met, like attendance matters and the number of people that are there. Again, I don't think there's anything in there that's gonna be too hot button. I think it was pretty straightforward once we talked to the attorney. But that is, we don't have a lot of 2/3 votes, but that'll be one.
And all the changes were unanimously recommended by the committee. Rebecca did a great job of really addressing the situation and composing the language and strategically placing it in the right spots. So great job, Rebecca.
Thank you, Lindsay, for reporting on that. Questions? Okay. Executive Director, anything else you want to share with us?
I'll just give a shout out to Anthony for recommending that we digitize our old minutes instead of storing 1,000 old binders in our office. Anthony and Sue were touring our space, and I was like, yeah, we gotta get some furniture to like keep those. And they were like, don't do that. So that was a very helpful suggestion, and Beth has done a great job researching vendors, and it's I think it's
happening.
surprisingly affordable, and it's happening. So it's less than the cost of furniture. Thank you.
And thank you to Monica also for
Yeah.
recommending, both Anthony and Monica recommended vendors, so.
I may have my business manager reach out to you, Beth, because I think we need to do that here at Glenview.
Gladly.
And feel free to reach out to us also, because we are doing the same, and it's like a huge weight off your shoulders to have all that stuff go away. And yeah.
Do you- Guys, we have ours professionally bound. Are yours bound professionally?
Oh, I professionally bind ours and
Okay, okay. No,
they're in a binder.
okay.
There,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's called
Anybody else?
3-hole
Is it-
punch with a plastic binder, right, Beth?
Ours are like books.
Wow.
I
Oh,
know,
wow.
probably gonna make it
know.
harder to digitize them.
the company that we're working with, which is not the one that you guys mentioned, but I can't remember who it is because I have staff members dealing with it, but they did add in some costs for like if things were stapled and they had to or paper clipped or whatever. So your costs vary depending on how much manual manipulation of the materials is necessary.
Do they then house them for you, or do you just then house them on your own servers?
Either. So we got proposals for both.
Mhm.
Like a subscription service to maintain it in their own like proprietary database. We are just getting a flash drive and they're gonna live in our SharePoint and
Okay,
yeah, so they'll be searchable. They're not gonna be public facing, but we can easily find and share documents as needed. We'll continue to post our new minutes publicly on our website, but we're not gonna go back and add minutes from like 1986 to our website.
Are you guys,
Yeah, I
this
thought
is
that's
more, this is more records retention question now, but are you guys going to apply for destruction of the physical copies after that? Or what are you doing in terms of record retention?
That's an
forget
interesting
what
question,
that-
Monica.
Question,
'cause
Monica.
I was not going to do that. Anthony, were you going to apply for destruction? I was just assuming because I had an electronic copy now, I could
Hmm.
get rid of the paper. Because one of the things these services do is they take the paper away and then they say, do you want us to bring it back?
Right.
And we
Right.
said no.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
we're
I'm
not
with
putting
Monica.
ours
Our
back.
No.
state guy is like, if it starts as paper, it has to always be paper. And once you
I
digitize
know.
it, the paper is still the record to be retained. And
That's
like,
why
and
I'm
he's pretty chill
asking.
as far as records retention people go.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking, because I love the idea of doing that. The digitization project we did was our local newspaper. And back from like 1912. So we retained all those copies. But I'm thinking, oh, I would love to store, like, to free up some of those. We have plastic Rubbermaid storage totes in our basement that our old meeting minutes are in. So I would love to get rid of that, but I was like, will the state let you destroy the original copy once you digitize it?
We'll follow up and confirm that.
Making a note.
I see, I mean, CCS also lives in an unusual environment where I don't think the public is gonna be coming for our minutes, you know? But I mean, I think,
But I could see the state still saying if they were
Yeah.
paper, they need to remain as paper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I wanted
They
to
love
digitize
paper.
mine, so I was hoping you had an answer to that.
no, we didn't, I truly did not even think of that. I was like, we
Honestly, no. Right, right. And we could, I mean, we could certainly have them bring back the paper copies and then we determine that if we needed. Rebecca's making it. Obviously, but that's not ideal. That's not preferred. But I mean,
Yeah.
Mine are gone.
ours aren't gone yet.
Yeah,
I'm gonna find out. I can update the group or update Rebecca.
please update the group. I would love to hear the answer to that question before I undertake that effort. We haven't, I just found out that my previous business manager has not done any records retention for the past 2 years. And I just got a new business manager and I was like, oh, hey, we need to do the thing. So yeah, so obviously my mind is thinking records retention right now. So thanks for getting that info, Beth.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for asking that question.
Yeah.
Whoops, Pandora's box.
It always comes back to records retention.
I know this, it's so stupid.
If only we didn't have to follow state laws.
laws.
I mean, what's really going to happen? They're not going to throw you in library jail.
I know.
You still have the minutes. They exist.
I know, that's why I don't understand. Like, if it's digitally available and I could print you a copy if you want a printed copy, what's the problem?
And it's searchable. It's got to
Mm.
be easier than finding it in Rubbermaid
yeah.
totes.
Yeah,
It's more
Right.
accessible.
Right, it's more
for sure.
accessible. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. My staff is just gonna point the finger at me and say, she skipped the country.
And you'll be gone. Yeah, exactly. Done.
We'll do it too then.
Yeah, I was like, oh, our precedent's set.
Amy said it was okay.
We'll say we gave them to Jeannie. She was working on this digitization project and she was supposed to be
Right.
checking with the state.
She absconded.
Beth, we're gonna delete this report.
Absolutely.
She
We'll be
shredded them
recording.
all, damn her.
Edit, recorded. Okay, anything else for the executive director?
No, that was a delight. Thank you.
Okay, then I will adjourn the meeting at 10:33 a.m. Thank you all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Jeannie. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Take
Bye.
care.
Anthony is so like